Hello, Croatia. This is Matt McGee, the author of U2 A Diary. Thank you so much for having your event today. I am sorry I can't be there in person. I hope this videotape is an acceptable substitute. I am recording this from my home in Washington State, in the northwest corner of the U.S., sitting in my office, the same office where I wrote the book a couple of years ago. And as you can see, it's a veritable U2 shrine of sorts. We've got posters and prints and frames and DVDs and CDs back here. I'm thrilled about the news that the book is being translated into Croatian. It's the third translation. There's already been a Japanese version that's been published. There is a Portuguese version, which I don't think has been published yet. And then there's your version. I became a fan in 1981 when I heard I Will Follow on a radio station in Philadelphia, where I was living at the time. And since that time, I've always been collecting magazine articles and newspaper clippings, and even recording stuff off TV that I could find, and just saving anything about the band's history that I could. And eventually, in 1995, I took all that information I had and created at U2, which is now the oldest, continually updated U2 fan site on the internet. A lot of people ask, how long did it take to write it? There was probably about 18 months, maybe 20 months of actual research and writing, not including the delays. I think several things that make this book different. Number one is how I went about researching and writing. I set up a blog, u2diary.com, which is still active. You can visit that today. And I set that up, pretty much as soon as the book was, as soon as I started the researching and the writing. And I set that up not only to update fans on how the book was progressing, but also to get their help. And boy, they were a phenomenal help. Anytime that I would put something on the blog saying, I need some more information about this. Does anybody know anything more about such and such? Sometimes within minutes, sometimes within hours, always within a matter of a couple days. A good example of that is 1986, the year that U2 was working on the Joshua Tree album. Bono and his wife went to Central America that year. We know that. That's not new news, but there's been very little information told about that, the sequence of events there. That was the same year that Greg Carroll died. He was very inspirational to the band, Bono's personal assistant. And so through the research I was able to do about these two events, learned a lot about what was going on in that time period in the summer of 2000 or in the summer of 1986, stuff that was never told before. Did some interviews with people that were actually on the trip with Bono and his wife in Central America, and got a lot of great information that was never told before. And so I think that that kind of thing, because as a U2 fan, I've always wanted to learn more about that. And so the opportunity to put that in the book was was really cool, and I think U2 fans would find that interesting as well. A lot of people ask, did U2 help you write it? Did they answer your questions? Did you interview them? No, I did not. They for the past couple years they've been working on their new album. And, I just figured, listen, it takes them long enough to get a U2 album out, right? I mean, it takes them years now to get a new album out. The last thing they need is me bugging them with lots of questions and trying to, get them to help with the book. I did, on a couple occasions, very rarely, did send a couple emails to folks that work with them, some of their close associates, just to get clarifications on exact dates or sequences of events, and those folks were very helpful in getting back to me with some of the information I was looking for. I also did interviews with a lot of people that interacted with or worked with U2 over the years. One example would be a guy named Chaz Diwali. He was U2's first producer. He produced their first single in Ireland, U2 3. He produced a couple songs after that. All of this was before they hooked up with Steve Lillywhite for the Boy album. So I spent about an hour and a half or 2 hours on the phone with him. That was one of the interviews I did. He was fantastic. We had a great conversation. He helped fill in a lot of the information about that early period, 1978, 1979, 1980. There's not a whole lot of information online right now. If anyone has any other questions, you can visit u2diary.com. There's a contact form on there. Feel free to send me an email, and I'll be glad to chat or answer any questions you might have. So thanks again. Again, my apologies for not being able to be there in person. I hope this video is an acceptable substitute. And thank you to the publishers and all the press and the fans. And I hope that the book is a huge success in Croatia.